Hello everyone, it's Brandon here again for another video. Today I'm making another video about bipolar disorder, consciousness, and a new topic for my channel that I might be getting into more in the future, and that is psychedelic drug usage. This is a very controversial topic. Many people are going to be potentially critical of things if I'm not very careful with how I present the ideas in this video. So bear with me if some things sound a little bit risky to say. I'm going to do my very best to present these ideas in a way that has everybody's safety and best health in mind. Anyway though, let's go ahead and get started with the video. So, this video is going to be specifically about psilocybin, or mushrooms, or magic mushrooms, the use of psilocybin for people who have bipolar disorder. It's going to also fall under the broader category of people using psychedelic drugs while having bipolar disorder, and then also just how that interplays with mental health. Now, first off, I have to start things out with a disclaimer. Anything I say in this video is not said to give you guys reason in your own mind to go out and use psychedelic drugs, any other drugs, to stop taking medication, anything like that. What this video is really for is, for one, for my subscribers to see more of my perspective and hear from my experiences with bipolar disorder. That's probably the first thing. And then two, it's also for people who are thinking about trying psychedelic drugs who have bipolar disorder. It's going to give you information just in the form of my own experience of what happened to me. A little bit more information, so if you're already thinking about going down that road, you have more information at your fingertips to know if it's the right decision for you or the wrong decision for you. None of what I say is medical advice or the advice of an expert. It's simply the advice of someone who has done it and tried it, and for better or worse, I'm giving you this information. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'm going to talk about my experience. So even before I had bipolar disorder, I was very interested in the use of psychedelic drugs, specifically for the purpose of raising my own understanding, of expanding my consciousness. That's really what I wanted to use it for. People use the term psychonaut. It's someone who, rather than being an astronaut who explores outer space, you rather use these drugs or other tools such as meditation or self-inquiry to look into your inner psychology, the internal world that you'll find has just as much there as the vast and almost incomprehensibly vast space of outer space. So, with that little bit of information and background, I was interested in this before I ever had a manic episode, before I ever was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and before I ever really showed strong symptoms or was verified to have the illness. And I honestly think that a big part of the reason, well, I know for a fact a big part of the reason why I didn't try psychedelic drugs for many years, I probably first had the thought to try these when I was about 17. I didn't try them until I was about 23, or the very end of my, of being 22, turning into 23. So that's when I first tried them. So we're talking about 7 years of 6 years of difference, roughly speaking. between when I first thought I wanted to try them, and then when I was 18, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, so I thought, wait a minute, better hold up and get my mental health fixed first, or at least, under control first. There was a certain point where I felt pretty stable. I hadn't had a manic episode in years. I was taking one medication that was controlling my manic symptoms. I never really had any manic symptoms. And then I made the decision to try mushrooms. I was at a music festival, a local music festival, and I tried mushrooms in the form of, it was an edible way of taking them in, which I think is the normal way, but it was in some type of like chocolate bar or something like that. I ingested an amount that is about 1/4 of what a normal person, what a normal dose is for someone who's taking mushrooms and wants to trip. So I took 1/4 of the normal amount, and I did this specifically because I knew that it was a little bit risky or maybe a lot of it risky. I knew there was risk involved with taking a substance such as this and also having a diagnosed mental health condition. I had done probably at that point hours of research over the years looking into, is it safe to take psychedelics and have bipolar disorder? What happens? And basically there wasn't much information. And that's one reason why I'm making this video. There isn't much information out there straight up telling you, hey, I took psychedelics, I have bipolar disorder, this is what happened. So when I took the psychedelic drug or magic mushrooms, what happened was I had a beautiful, amazing, ego-dissolving experience for maybe around 5 hours. And it was really enjoyable, it was euphoric, it was pleasant, and it was similar to what I've experienced in manic episodes. I was more outgoing, I was a little bit freer with my thoughts and my speech. I didn't have that kind of critical inner voice telling me, oh wait a minute, that person might not like you, or wait a minute, don't say this, or I was more expressive, which is something that comes about in me through my manic episodes too. And I guess the big reason why I bring up manic episodes is because I really believe that in a way they are like psychedelic drugs, except you didn't take anything. Manic episodes have the very, at least in my own experience, the very real effect of dissolving your ego in ways. That comes in many forms for me, such as me being more selfless, more expressive, not worried about what others think as far as how they might be critical of me. I rather just start expressing myself. I begin feeling very euphoric, very happy, and all of those feelings kind of snowball on each other to have the end result being a version of me where I am very happy, talkative, and fully expressive of any thoughts that I have, even if I realize that they might go against what the normal paradigm is that people might be having about what I'm saying. So, hope you stayed with me through all of that. What I really want to say is, continuing on, is that the experience was positive, but about 2 months later, I had my first manic episode that I had had in years, and I was still taking my medication. And I had 2 of those episodes. And I do have a feeling that potentially taking the mushrooms led to these manic episodes. Even though I was medicated while I took the mushrooms, even while I was still on my same normal dose of medication every single day, while I was having the manic episodes, that couple months later. And the reason that I believe that this triggered a manic episode is because I do believe that there is a legitimate spiritual or raising of consciousness potential with these psychedelic drugs like magic mushrooms. Even though I took a quarter of the regular dose, I still felt a lot of that ego dissolving effect. And that is honestly what I would say is probably, from all the videos I've watched and all that I've read about psychedelics, all that I've heard about them, and then also what I've experienced through them, and also the psychedelic effects that I've experienced through my own manic episodes, I would say that the most important effect of taking a psychedelic drug is that it takes away your idea, your concept, at least for a little bit, that it takes away that concept in your mind where you think that reality is fixed, reality is this external thing that I can't change, and it has certain laws, and everything has to be logical and reasonable. It takes that idea away because it shows you that reality can be completely different. Your experience of reality, your experience, can be totally different. That's what mania shows you. That's what taking psychedelic drugs shows you. And I really believe that that is damaging to the normal life that you will try to live and that everyone will want you to live. And I'm not saying that those people are wrong or that you're wrong in wanting to live a normal life where you go to work every day and you try to make a positive impact in your own small way in the world, and or maybe even in a big way. You're worried about money, material things, you're worried about maybe success a little bit, you're worried about your friendships, your health. All of these things are important. And being in a manic episode or, getting insights from psychedelic drugs, these things they definitely harm your normal life. But I would add a caveat to that. And it's the idea that these experiences with mania, if they're similar to the ones that I've had, I don't know how your direct experiences of mania have been, or even if you've had them. But your experiences with mania or psychedelic drugs, they can just completely change your entire life and the entire course of your life. I very much so believe that taking the mushrooms on that night, although it was very positive that night, and I believe in a way it was also positive for me in coming into who I'm supposed to be or who I want to be, and growing my consciousness, which I think is one of the most important things for me personally. I think it was very helpful because it showed me that I was focused on the wrong things. I was focused a bit too much on success, a bit too much on money, a bit too much on trying to be frugal and save money, rather than helping people, which is, something else that you can do with money. And I think you'll find that if you have any spiritual type experience or any consciousness growing experience or any ego dissolving or shrinking experience, you'll find that you will be more compassionate, you will be more free with your expression and how you express yourself to others and to the world. And I believe these things are good things, but you have to be very careful with how you go about this. And just keep in mind, if you're going to choose to use a psychedelic drug or to not take the proper amount of medication and you find yourself in a manic episode, just know that this is going to derail your life in a lot of ways. It is. But also keep in mind that you might find yourself being a little bit more connected, a little bit happier once you come down from that mania, once you come down from that psychedelic experience, and once you've dealt with the fallout that comes from having that experience, once you've dealt with the problems that those experiences might have caused in your life, you might find that you got a little bit more connected with a life that you want to live. But don't get me wrong, guys. I hope that you listen, guys and girls. Hope that you guys listen to everything that I said in this video, in all seriousness, and just I hope that you realize the gravity of the situation that I'm talking about. This is not a light decision. This is why it took me 6 years to get to the point where I considered it a worthwhile risk to take to try a psychedelic drug in a very small dosage. And I think you should come at mania in bipolar disorder or any other mental health condition. You should come at it and realize that a mental health condition has real power over your life and how your life will play out and what kind of life you can live. So you need to be very careful making decisions that might change this and change the outcome of your life. But just realize also too that maybe the voices of everyone around you, maybe they're less informed than you in certain ways, and maybe they're more informed than you in other ways. You gotta just listen to yourself at the end of the day, follow your own heart, and I believe that you will find the right thing to do. But I want to encourage you guys to try your best to take on healthy habits in your own life, because these healthy habits, like something like meditation, or exercise or reading, these things can have just as powerful of impacts as psychedelic drug use if done in the right way, especially meditation. Meditation is like a harder way to find out these same spiritual insights. It's harder to get them a little bit by meditating, but I think that meditation gives you some true insights that come about in a much healthier way. A way that isn't as destructive to your, external life. So, if you're looking for spiritual truth, whether or spiritual love or the experience or whatever you're looking for by taking a psychedelic drug, realize that you can get the exact same thing. That same source of information and positive experience, you can get it through meditation, and maybe take that as a route instead of taking psychedelic drugs, and maybe take that as a route rather than letting yourself slip into a manic episode. I know a lot of us with bipolar disorder, we can easily get drawn into the idea that a manic episode might be really fun or enjoyable or insightful, but just realize it also has the power to derail your life. So I rather suggest to you try meditating daily and see what happens. That would be my best advice. And I admit, sometimes I don't even follow my own advice, and that's why I'm making a video about how I tried psychedelic drugs. So, anyway guys, I hope that you got something useful out of this video. I know I might have mentioned a few topics multiple times. There might have been sections that were slightly repetitive, but if you enjoyed the video, if you found it useful and you're glad to hear the information in this video, please give me a thumbs up, a like on YouTube, because I am really interested in growing the channel so that I can reach more people, especially who suffer or experience bipolar disorder or other similar mental illnesses. I want to reach out to those people and bring as positive and constructive of a message that I possibly can by talking to you guys and girls about my own experience. So, if you appreciate that idea and you appreciate the effort that I'm giving, I would also really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and also hit that little bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you get notified whenever I make a video. because every view counts to me. It helps, it's important to me to get this information out to the people who want to find it. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching all the way through. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope that you take the words that I gave in this video seriously, and I hope that it improves your life in some way.